You don't have an anger problem, you have a power problem, because the moment your temper rises, your authority drops. In that second, you hand your mind to someone else and call it reaction. And if you keep doing it, anger becomes your default language, not because you're weak, because you're untrained. Listen closely. Anger feels like strength, but it is usually leaked control. It promises protection, yet it exposes you. It tells you you're defending your dignity, while it quietly turns you into a puppet for insults, disrespect, delays, betrayal, noise, ego, and pressure. If someone can trigger you, they can steer you. And in any war at work, at home, in your own head, the first person to lose control is the first person to lose. Stoicism is not softness, it is command. It is the discipline to pause when your body screams attack, and to choose what is yours to choose. The Stoic doesn't beg life to be easier, he trains himself to be unshakable, not by suppressing emotion, but by placing emotion under the rule of reason. In the next 60 seconds, you're going to learn 8 Stoic rules that cut anger at the root fast. Rules you can apply in the heat of a conversation, in traffic, in betrayal, in disrespect, in silence that feels like an insult. Not tomorrow, now, because your peace is not luck, it is a practice. And here is your first move before we begin. In the comments, write one word: calm. Not as a trend, as a command to your nervous system, a public vow that you are done being controlled. If you're ready to stay calm in any war, like this video, subscribe to Inside Stoic Thought and step into the first rule with me. Rule number 1. Name the impression before it names you. Anger does not begin with an event. It begins with a story you attach to the event. Someone cuts you off, and your mind declares, "They disrespected me." Someone replies coldly, and your mind announces, "They're trying to embarrass me." A plan collapses, and your mind shouts, "This always happens to me." In Stoicism, that first mental headline is called an impression, and the fastest way to control anger is to catch the impression at the door before it moves into your body and turns into fire. Here is the Stoic rule: you do not have to believe the first thought that arrives, you only have to notice it. The moment you name the impression, you create space between you and the trigger. Space is power. Space is where choice lives. So, in the exact second you feel your chest tighten, your jaw lock, your voice preparing to strike, you do this silently. This is an impression. That's it. Not a lecture, not a debate, just a label. Because once you label it, it stops being a command and becomes a proposal. And you can reject a proposal. Then take the next Stoic step. Ask one question that dismantles the anger's authority. What else could this mean? Maybe they didn't disrespect you. Maybe they're distracted, rushing, scared, clumsy, ignorant. Maybe the message wasn't an attack. Maybe it was stress, poor wording, low emotional skill. You are not excusing bad behavior. You are refusing to poison your own mind with an unverified accusation. The Stoic does not let imagination write the verdict. Now apply the 60-second method. Inhale and say in your mind, impression. Exhale and say, not confirmed. Inhale, I have control of my judgment. Exhale, I release the need to react. Do that for 3 breaths. You will feel the heat drop, not because the situation changed, because you reclaimed the part that belongs to you. And this is the deeper warrior truth. Anger is often grief wearing armor. It is fear pretending to be strength. When you name the impression, you stop fighting the outside world and start governing the inside one. That is real domination. Rule number 2. Delay the response. Dominate the moment. Anger loves speed. It feeds on immediacy. It whispers, say it now, text it now, correct them now, show them you're not weak. And the moment you obey, you trade long-term respect for short-term relief. Stoicism teaches the opposite. The fastest way to win is to slow down on purpose. Here is the rule. You do not respond while your nervous system is activated, because in that state, you are not choosing, you are discharging. Your words become weapons you cannot take back, and your actions become evidence against your own character. The Stoic warrior understands a brutal truth. A quick tongue creates long consequences. So you install a delay, not days, not hours, seconds, a controlled pause that breaks the chain between trigger and reaction. That pause is where your dignity returns. Use this Stoic command the instant you feel anger rise. Not yet. Say it silently. Not yet. Those two words separate you from the animal impulse. They turn you from a reactor into a ruler. Then do the three-step delay that works in real life, in real heat. First, lock your mouth for 2 breaths. No sarcasm, no fine, no sharp tone. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. A calm pause makes the other person reveal more, and it keeps you from confessing your power away. Second, drop your shoulders and unclench your hands. Anger lives in the body. If you keep the body tense, the mind will keep manufacturing reasons to stay angry. Release the body, and the mind loses fuel. Third, choose a single sentence that buys you time without surrendering authority. You can say, "Give me a second," or "Let me think," or "I'm going to respond clearly." You are not avoiding the issue. You are refusing to answer from chaos. Here is the Stoic standard. Your response must serve your values, not your mood. Your mood is weather. Your values are direction. The delay is you stepping out of the storm and returning to the compass. And remember this, the person who provokes you is trying to drag you into their tempo. If you match their speed, they control the frame. When you slow down, you control the battlefield. You make them deal with your calm, not your rage. Practical exercise for today. The next time you feel that heat, count to 5 in your mind and say, "Not yet." Then speak only if your voice can carry respect. If it cannot, you wait. That is discipline. In the comments write, "I respond, I don't react." Rule number 3. Separate what they did from what it means. Most anger is not caused by behavior. It is caused by interpretation. Someone speaks bluntly, and you translate it as disrespect. Someone forgets something, and you translate it as betrayal. Someone disagrees, and you translate it as an attack on your worth. The event is one thing, the meaning you assign is another. Stoicism trains you to split them apart, because the meaning is where anger hides. Here is the rule. Describe the facts without adding poison. Facts are neutral. Your commentary is what lights the fire. So when something triggers you, force your mind into a courtroom standard. What happened exactly? Not what you assume, not what you fear, not what your ego claims. What happened? They raised their voice. They arrived late. They didn't reply. They criticized your idea. They made a joke. Keep it clean. Keep it literal. The moment you strip the story, you strip the rage. Then apply the Stoic filter. Is this about my control or my pride? Because anger often arrives as pride's bodyguard. Pride needs to be seen, respected, obeyed. When life refuses, pride demands punishment. The Stoic does not live to be obeyed. He lives to be governed from within. Now you replace the interpretation with a disciplined alternative, not a naive one, a rational one. Instead of "they're humiliating me," you say, "they are speaking from their own state." Instead of "this is personal," you say, "this is information." Instead of "they should know better," you say, "they are showing me who they are." That shift is not denial, it is clarity. Here is the 60-second method you can use in any war. State the fact in your mind like a report, then add one line of Stoic meaning that restores your power. Fact: they insulted me. Meaning: their words cannot touch my character. Fact: they ignored me. Meaning: I don't need external validation to be steady. Fact: they challenged me. Meaning: I can answer with reason, not heat, because your identity is not a hostage to their behavior. Your peace is not rented from their approval. When you live like that, anger loses its leverage. This is the deeper discipline. You are responsible for your judgments, not for what they say, not for what they do, only for what you decide it means. That is where freedom begins. The untrained man fights people. The Stoic fights false meanings. Rule number 4. Lower the value of the offensive. Anger grows in proportion to importance. The more value you assign to an insult, a delay, a mistake, or a rude tone, the more power it gains over your mind. Stoicism offers a sharp solution. Reduce the value of the offensive, not by pretending it didn't happen, by refusing to crown it as a life or death event. Here is the rule. Most things are not as serious as your anger claims they are. When you get triggered, your mind exaggerates. It turns one comment into a character assassination. One inconvenience becomes, "They always do this." One disrespect becomes a war for dominance. The Stoic warrior cuts that inflation immediately. Use this internal sentence the moment anger rises. This is smaller than my peace. Say it again. This is smaller than my peace. That phrase recalibrates the scale. You remind yourself that your calm is expensive, built through discipline, and not for sale to a random moment. Then apply the Stoic technique of perspective. Fast. Ask, will this matter in a week? If not, do not pay for it with your nervous system today. Ask, if I were watching this from above, would it look like a crisis or a scene? Most of what enrages you is a scene, and scenes pass. Now take it deeper. Ask, what exactly is being threatened? Often it's not your safety, it's your ego, your desire to be respected, to be right, to be acknowledged, to be obeyed. Stoicism does not forbid respect, it forbids dependence on it. The moment you need the world to treat you a certain way to stay calm, you are not free. You are negotiating your peace with strangers. So you practice deliberate lowering. You say, they spoke poorly. That is their weakness, not my emergency. You say, this inconvenience is not an attack, it is training. You say, I will not turn a moment into a monument. That is how you stop anger from building an empire in your chest. And here is the warrior's secret. Lowering the value of the offense does not make you passive, it makes you precise. You can still set boundaries, you can still correct, you can still walk away, but you do it from a cool center, not from emotional smoke. Practical exercise for today. Pick one thing that usually triggers you: late replies, criticism, disrespectful tone. The next time it happens, immediately ask, is this worth my peace? Then choose the smallest response that protects your dignity. Silence can be the smallest response. A calm sentence can be the smallest response. Walking away can be the smallest response. But rage is never the smallest response. In the comments, write, my peace is expensive. Rule number 5. Expect human weakness. Stop being surprised. Anger often comes from one root: unrealistic expectation. You expect people to be fair, mature, self-aware, punctual, respectful, and logical at all times. And when they fail, you act shocked, as if the world violated a contract. Stoicism teaches a harder, calmer truth. People will act like people. Your job is not to be surprised. Your job is to be prepared. Here is the rule: expect flaws in advance, so you don't pay for them with rage. Marcus Aurelius practiced this mental training daily. He would remind himself that he would meet people who are arrogant, dishonest, ungrateful, jealous, or careless, not to become cynical, but to become steady. Because when you anticipate human weakness, it stops feeling personal. It stops feeling like an ambush. It becomes weather, something you navigate with skill. So the moment someone provokes you, replace "how could they" with "of course they could." Not as approval, as realism. Of course they could speak rudely. Of course they could misunderstand. Of course they could be selfish. This single shift kills the shock that fuels anger, and shock is what makes the fire explode. Now combine it with a Stoic question that protects your dignity. What does this moment require of me? Not what does it allow me to vent, not what does it tempt me to destroy. What does it require of my character? It might require patience, it might require a boundary, it might require silence, it might require distance, but it never requires you to lose command of yourself. Here is the practical 60-second method. When you feel anger, mentally say, "This is human behavior." Then say, "My response is my responsibility." Then choose one virtue to embody in the next sentence you speak. Choose discipline if you want to stay quiet. Choose justice if you need to correct. Choose courage if you must confront. Choose wisdom if you must walk away. Anger is the easy path. Virtue is the strong path. And here is the deeper spiritual point. Every provocation is training. Life is not attacking you, it is refining you. The rude person is not your downfall, they are your sparring partner. The delay is not a curse, it is your gym. When you see it that way, anger loses meaning. It becomes unnecessary weight you no longer carry. Rule number 6. Let it hit the body, not the mind. Anger becomes dangerous when it hijacks your thinking. Your body feels heat, and your mind rushes to justify it. It starts collecting evidence, replaying memories, predicting disrespect, rehearsing revenge. That is when anger turns from a moment into a mindset. Stoicism teaches a decisive separation. Sensation is not a verdict. A surge in the body is not proof that you must attack. Here is the rule. You are allowed to feel the wave, but you are not allowed to follow the story. In the first seconds of anger, the body reacts automatically. Heart rate rises, breathing tightens, muscles prepare for conflict. That is biology. But what happens next is a choice. Do you feed it with interpretation, or do you observe it like a disciplined witness? So when anger hits, do this immediately. Locate it. Where is it sitting? Chest, throat, jaw, stomach, hands. Name it with precision. Heat in the chest, pressure in the throat, tension in the jaw. This is not spiritual poetry. This is tactical control. Because the moment you turn emotion into a physical observation, you stop treating it like a command. Then apply the Stoic breath that cools the nervous system without drama. Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 1, exhale for 6, do 3 rounds. While exhaling, repeat one sentence. This is energy, not instruction. Again, this is energy, not instruction. Your body can surge, your character stays seated on the throne. Now comes the highest part of the rule. Refuse mental rehearsals. Do not replay what they said. Do not craft the perfect comeback. Do not predict future disrespect. That rehearsal is gasoline. Instead, return to one anchor, the present task. If you are speaking, speak with clarity. If you are listening, listen like a judge, not a victim. If you must walk away calmly. Anger wants you to time travel into past wounds and future fantasies. The Stoic pins the mind to now. This is what emotional mastery actually looks like. You do not deny anger, you downgrade it. You treat it as a temporary body state, like a fever. You don't negotiate with a fever. You don't obey a fever. You observe it, cool it, and continue. Practical exercise for today. When anger rises, do not speak for 10 seconds. Scan the body, name the location, then do the 4-1-6 breath 3 times. After that, ask yourself one question. What action aligns with my values? If you cannot answer, you wait longer. That waiting is not weakness, it is sovereignty. In the comments write, energy, not instruction. Rule number 7. Choose your outcome before you speak. Anger makes you speak for relief. Stoicism makes you speak for results. That is the difference between a man who vents and a man who leads. In any conflict, words are not just sound, they are strategy. And the Stoic rule is simple: decide the outcome first, then let your words serve it. Here is the rule: never speak to punish, speak to resolve, to set boundaries, or to exit with dignity. When you're angry, your mind narrows. It wants dominance. It wants the last word. It wants them to feel what you feel. But that desire is emotional debt. You pay for it later with regret, damaged trust, and lost respect. A Stoic does not trade the future for a moment of satisfaction. So before you respond, ask yourself one question that instantly restores command. What do I want this to become? Do you want peace? Do you want clarity? Do you want respect? Do you want distance? Do you want a solution? Choose one, only one, because if you don't choose, anger will choose for you, and anger's choice is always destruction. Now apply the Stoic speaking filter, fast, in real time. If the outcome is clarity, your tone must be calm and your words must be specific. No exaggeration, no always, no never, no character attacks. You describe behavior and impact. If the outcome is boundaries, your sentence must be short and firm. No arguing, no explaining your worth. A boundary is not a debate, it is a line. If the outcome is peace, your sentence must reduce heat, not increase it. You do not add fuel, you do not match volume, you don't win, you settle. If the outcome is distance, you exit cleanly, not with a slam, not with a threat, with calm closure. Here is a 60-second method you can use anywhere. Pause, choose the outcome, then speak one sentence that matches it. One sentence, not a speech, not a trial. One sentence that keeps you in control. The second sentence is optional. The first sentence is decisive. And here is the warrior's truth. The calmer you are, the more your words weigh. Rage makes you loud but light. Calm makes you quiet but heavy. People don't fear the man who shouts. They respect the man who can stay cold. Rule number 8. Turn anger into discipline immediately. Anger is energy. If you don't command it, it commands you. It becomes sharp words, reckless decisions, broken relationships, and a mind that feels right while it destroys your life. Stoicism does not ask you to erase anger. It asks you to convert it, to take the heat and turn it into discipline. Here is the rule: when anger rises, do one controlled act that proves you are still sovereign. Because the most dangerous part of anger is the feeling of being possessed, like you had to react. The Stoic breaks that spell with action that is deliberate, not dramatic. Deliberate, so the moment you feel the fire, choose one of these conversions within 60 seconds. First conversion: silence with posture. Close your mouth, lift your chest, relax your face, and hold eye contact without aggression. You are telling your nervous system, I am not threatened. Silence becomes your armor, not your avoidance. Second conversion: distance with dignity. If the situation is escalating, step back physically. One step is enough. That movement signals to the body that you are not trapped, and it gives the mind room to regain reason. You can say calmly, I'm going to take a moment, not to escape, to return as a leader. Third conversion: a disciplined task. If you're alone, put anger into a controlled act. 10 slow push-ups, a cold splash of water, a short walk with steady breathing, writing a single sentence that clarifies what you actually want. The purpose is not punishment. The purpose is transmutation, turning heat into order. Now add the Stoic inner command that seals it. My character is worth more than my impulse. Say it until you believe it, because anger will always offer you an identity. I'm the kind of person who snaps. I'm the kind of person who can't tolerate disrespect. The Stoic chooses a higher identity. I'm the kind of person who governs himself. This is where the spiritual warrior path becomes real. Every provocation is a test of inner authority. Life is asking, in that moment, who is in charge here, your impulse or your principles? The Stoic answers with discipline. Practical exercise for today. Decide your default conversion now, before the next trigger arrives. Choose one: silence with posture, distance with dignity, or a disciplined task. Commit to it. Then when anger rises, you don't negotiate, you execute. In the comments write, "I transmute anger into discipline." You've just learned what most people never practice. Anger is not your enemy, but your training ground. Every trigger you face is asking one question: who is in command right now? The world will keep testing you with noise, disrespect, pressure, delay, and ego. That will not stop. What can stop is your submission to it. When you name the impression, delay the response. Strip false meaning, lower the offense, expect human weakness, ground the body, choose the outcome, and convert anger into discipline. You stop living reactively. You move like a stoic warrior, quiet, precise, unshakable. Carry this with you. Calm is not passive. Calm is controlled power. If this message sharpened your discipline, like this video and subscribe to Inside Stoic Thought. Stay close to teachings that make you stronger, not louder. May you walk steady through chaos, speak less but mean more, and rule yourself before anything else tries to rule you.